I grew up in the world of metal and punk, in which I still do love. I do feel the need to finally see what the rest of the world has to offer. My name is Aaron, and I grew up as a metalhead. Well, welcome back, everybody. Hope that you're excited. I am returning to 17. So, before I start, I want to do a couple things, just kind of small reminders before we start. First and foremost, I do still have 1 week club planned for the group of 17. I'm looking at my dates now. For this month, it's going to be TXT. They're going to be the 26th through the 4th of this month. But I'm actually going to bump 17 up to March. Now, I kind of have to see how things go with some things in my life, like work and possibly school, stuff like that. If I'm going to have to start 1 week club on the 18th of March or the 25th of the March. And so it might be the 18th through the 25th or the 25th through the 1st. So that's one thing. So I'm actually going to be bumping them up ahead of schedule and doing BOA on my birthday month. So just a little bit of something. One more thing too. I have actually gone and made a playlist for everything that I have done in terms of 17. There has actually been a few songs that I have done in the past, and if you want to go and check out what I have had said in the past, you can. And usually I don't make playlists until I have a 1 week club. However, usually it's because I want to have a special name to be placed for the group. I have already done so, and I actually really like it. And so all of 1 week club will be also going underneath that playlist. So there's going to be a huge resurgence into that playlist as soon as that happens. So anyway, we're doing Super from 17, and yeah, should be good. Let's check it out. I'm told that this choreography is crazy, so let's do it. Dang. Whoa, that's a lot of people. Jesus. That is wild. Okay, well, first and foremost, the first thing that I want to talk about, before we get on to the obvious elephant in the room, I want to talk about the vocals a little bit, because there's some things that I really, really like. First and foremost, I want to discuss this spot right here. Okay, so what I want to discuss here, and this is something that if you haven't seen or heard me talk about this before, this is something that I find to be a strength of larger groups. And for those of you who have watched, you know what I'm kind of about to say. I think if I remember correctly, they had about 13 members, if I remember. And I'm going to confirm that really quick, actually. Hold on. And that is, I was right, 13 members. And that is, a strength is strength in numbers. And, you know, I've talked about this before. There are some groups that have lower numbers and can make themselves sound big. And in a sense, that is true. And however, and I've used this before in a analogy to vehicles, because I used to be very much into vehicles a lot more than I am now in cars. There are some people who think that there is no replacement for displacement, and there are those who think that more less is more kind of thing. And this is the there is no replacement for displacement, meaning I don't care how powerful your four banger is, my giant V8 is going to outpower you. And that's kind of more or less this situation. The group is so massive that it actually almost has a choir-like effect. And I've said this before with groups like Super Junior. And kind of the same thing with 17. They have quite a few members, larger than I would say the usual group. And they are absolutely using it to their benefit. Smart. It's a smart thing to do. That like little war cry, I'll call it, is absolutely something that you can pull off with a larger group, and it actually does sound somewhat intimidating. And well, it actually does sound kind of intimidating. It's almost like a haka, right? Kind of gives you that same effect. The more there are, usually the more, effective that it is. Now, another thing that I always point out too, for those of you who know, I am very much more of a stick microphone than a wired one. But I understand that with some of this choreography, you could not use a stick microphone. I think the interesting thing is too is when you have a group like this, the abilities of each member is both dependent on how similar and yet how different they are, which I know sounds like a little counterintuitive. However, one thing that I'm noticing here is that basically every single person that takes their next spot in line more or less is kind of a step up in vocal height, in a sense, First one starts out kind of deepest or deeper, and then keeps building up. And very much is a good indication of using the word that I like to use is proper escalation. And this song is a very dramatic song, vocally speaking. So that is one thing that I have to say is really, really cool, is that the song continues to build upon itself intensity, and that is something that I think not everybody understands, it how if you do this, it's very effective. I like how even the fire is in sync with the music. It's small little details like that that are prevalent in this performance that I think actually make it really stand out for me, is because that, in a sense, when you watch this particular performance, there's a lot that kind of goes on, and you can sit there and be kind of impressed and, captured by like the super big moments of like, the dance choreography and the vocals, but it's small little details that I think truly set this apart, like the little details such as the fire and being in time with the music. Obviously, like the smaller parts in the choreography as well. It's very easy to look at like the part where they like throw someone up in the air, or like create a throne to sit on based on how many people there are on stage. But it's these small little details. I have to say this, and this is going to be headcanon forever. They're fans of Dragon Ball Z, and they're preparing for the Spirit Canon. If you watch Dragon Ball, you know what I'm talking about. Now, this is another thing that I have to say is really, really cool about the song, is that at first it kind of has this tribalistic kind of sound to it. And now when I say tribalistic, I mean that like the drumming is in a pattern that would be reminiscent of what is known as tribal, or like a tribal beat. Dun 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 dun, that kind of thing. But then it shifts right here, and gives us kind of a whole new side and flavor of song. This performance has so much detail that I think that's actually what's really, really cool about this as well. Because like even the people, and I know that this is kind of like a duh thing, but it's very easy to just kind of let the backup dancers just kind of do something a little bit more that accentuates the group themselves. However, they are kind of just like off doing their own thing, and it's really, really quite impressive. When I first passed through the song, which you saw, obviously, I was even noticing that like even the backup dancers have like very detailed and storied movement. Like, look, both of these back here, and both of these ladies right here, they both have like a very unique choreography that is so separate from the main dancer. Basically, I think what I'm trying to say is, long story short, that this performance does not skimp on any details. This is a very detailed performance. There's nothing that is skipped. There is nothing that is not overlooked, and make sure that everything works in accordance to a very, very solid and actually rather spectacular performance. So it's pretty legit. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to move forward just a little bit to talk about one more thing, and it's this spot right here. Now, to me personally, I think the thing that also is most important about this specific song is the continued energy that is provided here. The song is so energetic that it really is something that needs to be commended and talked about in of itself. So I'm going to let this part play out for just a minute to kind of show you the energy that I'm talking about. So one thing that I think is very important to understand is that I think a lot of times people talk about stage presence and command of the stage, but I don't feel like it's ever something that's really ever something that's truly explained. That I think this and the energy of the song is exactly kind of more or less what I think is a very good way of an example of what it means when we talk about stage presence and commanding the stage. Now, there's a reason. You can see right here at the bottom here, you'll see there's a huge graph of like the most replayed moments. Why do you think that this spot is so replayed? And that is because at the very end here, the experience and knowledge that they have as a group is where they flex the abilities of controlling the crowd. Now, I'm going to let this run again for just a minute and kind of explain what I'm talking about. So there's something that I like to talk about a lot, which is one of my favorite themes in music, which is the building of tenseness or tension and then the release of tension. And that is what this spot does. You feel this giant buildup, and it just feels like that it's about to explode until it does. But the thing that's interesting is, in case if you've never been to a concert, there is absolutely an energy that is shared between the artist and the musician, or in the crowd. And the truth of the matter is that almost like an airbender, from like Avatar or something like that, that these people that do these jobs are absolutely perfect at energy bending. And the thing that is so crazy is that is true stage performance, is the ability to bend the energy of the crowd. And let me tell you, you can actually physically see it and hear it in the crowd, because they will build up the tensity and then let this kind of spotlight play out flat, and the crowd is absolutely just going wild. That's the spot. Now, the thing that is so crazy, that that they have it, because when they're literally just walking to the spot, the crowd is absolutely just going wild, just even for that. So, yeah, I absolutely think that is just wild. wild stuff. But anyway, let me know what you think about this, and we'll discuss this down in the comments below. You have a good one.